Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Fire Sprinkler Podcast. I am still here in Dubai, and right now we're going to get to know Wendy Otway. She is involved with a lot of organizations over in the UK and the Middle East, but we're going to let her explain. Wendy, how's it going?
Well, the show is great. It's good to be back. Since COVID, we were here last year with masks.
Right.
So you couldn't connect with people. You saw people, and there was the COVID dance by every stand of do we do elbows, bumps?
Right, yeah.
This year, there are a few masks. We've still got to be cautious.
Absolutely.
But there's some old faces here reconnecting, and some great new companies and names here, which is so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, people have broken into the market here that haven't been here before, or maybe just were around just before COVID and they've come back big and bold. So it's good.
My first time coming to Intersect has been an awesome experience for myself. This is insane, the amount of various different manufacturers that, just being North American, I was unaware existed, and just the overall size, and for being a North American, coming here and seeing how serious a lot of areas take fire protection, but as well as how kind of low some areas take fire protection. It's more of a precaution if you want to do it, as opposed to you have to do it and it's mandatory. And you being from the UK, you see that more than anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. In the UK, we have basically 3 lines of mandated fire suppression protection.
Yes.
In the UK, Scotland probably kicked the ball into touch in the first instance. Then Wales became almost the safest place in the world to live.
Really?
Because in 2016, legislation came in that all new build should be sprinklered, new residential build should be sprinklered. So
all new residential homes, dwellings, apartments, sprinklered.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And if you were extending an existing building, then that extension had to be sprinklered. But still, there are so many properties at risk that need retrofitting, and it's retrofitting that every country in the world needs to look at. You know, here,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, here in the Middle East, we've got some amazing properties, huge multi-story things that are sprinklered, but there are thousands that aren't sprinklered, and they're usually with people who are at higher risk. They can't afford sort of good quality fire protection, and they are living at risk the whole time.
I just realized kind of while you were talking that I forgot to get you to introduce yourself. So, awesome introduction. Who are you? That's a lot of good information, but I want to know who's telling me this information.
Okay, all right. So briefly about me, I got involved in the fire industry in the UK in the late 1990s through working freelance with the Fire Protection Association on their magazine, which was a very exciting introduction to the fire industry. Having spent 7 or 8 years working with the Fire Protection Association, I started working with the British Automatic Fire Sprinkler Association, BAFSA, and since 2007 I have basically been a BAFSA's communications advisor, consultant, and so I run BAFSA's events, I communicate with the membership, and I run their magazines and publications.
Oh, okay.
Working closely with an expert team of 7 consultants and the chief executive. BAFSA is a very hard-working trade association aimed at promoting sprinklers in the UK.
Right.
So we have representatives on most of the standards committees, or certainly we have collaborative representatives on those committees.
Right. It's good to have your hand in a lot of different cookie jars as far as that's concerned, right? To have an association that's willing to spend the time and considerable amount of money to be involved in those associations is huge.
Yeah, I mean, we're committed to making sure that the whole of Britain, so Wales, Scotland, England and Northern Ireland, have the same standard of fire suppression that they deserve.
Right.
But England sadly lags behind.
What's the reasoning for that? Is that just this is just the way we've always done, which is one of the most dangerous phrases in the fire protection industry? We've always done it this way. Drives me nuts. But would that be kind of the way that this is the way we've always built buildings? This is the way we've always done it, or has there not been a lot of fatalities regarded to fire to where it's not taken as serious?
Right, I can't give you the stats on fatalities. There are fatalities, there are still fatalities in residential buildings. I don't know, once a week, but certainly once a month one hears somewhere in the UK. Wales game changer was a lady who basically decided that Wales was going to be a safer place. She was in the on emergency calls, and she decided she would go into politics and she would fight the cause, and she did. And she spent 11 years lobbying Parliament and government and local government and being an Welsh Assembly member, and she achieved it.
Assuming, so she was where I'm from, 911 dispatch, so emergency service dispatcher. Got sick of hearing the calls and said, I got to do something about this. Amazing.
Yep. Brought up in a very political family and thought, I can do this. And she still... And did. She made not too many friends along the way in the sort of English central government, but she thought she just went on. I call her the Welsh dragon. Yeah. In the nicest possible way.
I would assume so. Yeah. Good to have on your team, but terrible to be against.
Yeah. And she's still, to this day, she's fights the corner. She attends events and just sells the fact that people deserve sprinklers. Sprinklers save lives, and she does it the whole time. She's amazing.
The statistics are there. It's black and white. When you take, I take the North American statistics. I'm assuming you guys have a statistic for Wales. How long has Wales been mandatory sprinkler? 2016?
2016, the whole of the legislation came in. It started in 2014.
So it's probably still too early to find a decrease in fire fatalities as of yet. I know in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is a state in the U.S. I'm from Canada, but I know the statistics. Became law that all new residential dwellings were 1988 or 1999. They've had 2 fatalities in sprinklered homes since then. So it's black and white. It's written on the wall. Residential fire sprinklers are the #1 way to protect property.
Absolutely. And is that just new build though, or is it retrofit?
That was new build, but they take that statistic and they isolate into new homes that have sprinkler protection. There have been still fatalities in unsprinkled homes, but in order to put it black and white, we've had this many fatalities in unsprinkled homes, and we've had this many fatalities in sprinkler homes, and the numbers are black and white. What other organizations are you involved with over here?
Right, so with the British side, I'm with BAFSA. Yep. But I'm very privileged to work with the European Fire Sprinkler Network, which represents most of the countries in Europe from, a trade organisation. And where they are concerned, I organise their major conference and exhibition, which used to be every 2 years, but is now every year. We were in London in May, we're in Amsterdam at the end of May.
I was looking through the magazine and I saw it, and I'm like, I'm coming back.
We would love to see you.
This is a terrible way to tell my wife, but put it in the calendar, May 31st to June 1st.
You're coming to Amsterdam.
I'm coming to Amsterdam, sorry.
Mrs.
Love
Chris.
you. Dawn, tell her I have to come. You tell Dawn I have to come.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna look at the calendar and see what I can swing, but I think I'm probably going to be coming back. Sorry. It's
a really intense and unique event. There isn't another event that just says, we're going to talk fire suppression for 2 days. It's a packed program. We have academics, practitioners, engineers, insurance companies. They all prepare fantastic, unique papers for us. We have about 50 speakers in 2 days. Yep, we have parallel programs in 3 different breakout rooms for 50% of the time.
Is there an expo similar to this?
There
Maybe
is
not similar to this. I don't know if there's. I know there may be one in the world similar to this, but
no. There is a very valued exhibition, which we would expect to have 50 of the major representatives of the sprinkler industry there, and they provide the sort of backup to all the conference speakers who are saying we could do this, we could do that. The innovation and technology that is there is brilliant, again, because it's focused. I mean, here we have sprinkler people here, and in fact several of them will be in Amsterdam, and they are at our events in England. But you've got to find them.
Right.
If you want to know about sprinklers in Europe, you come to an EFSN event, Fire Sprinkler International event, 2023 in Amsterdam. I've got to get the plug in. Dublin, 2020. Dublin 2024 at the end of April, and Germany in 2025. So
I'm traveling the world over the next couple of years. Awesome. I'll keep my passport up to date. So, the other association you're involved in is you're involved with the Middle East?
Well, in the Middle East, I'm very proud to be editor of Fire Middle East magazine, which is in its 56th issue. We launched 16 years ago. I believe we're the longest lasting magazine serving the industry in the region.
Wow. And this is not like a little, it's not a pamphlet. When I was sitting here earlier and flipping through, this is a hefty magazine. There's a lot of really good information here. I was looking through it to find your contact information, and then I didn't even find it because I was, okay. And then I would read an article, and then, okay, I'll see if I can, nope, now I'm stuck into this one. And it's just got a lot of really, really good information, which I'm gonna bury this thing in the on the flight home.
I'm very pleased to hear it. I think our aim, the sole aim and philosophy on the magazine, is to inform and advise, educate and inspire, so that the region, as it grows, as it blossoms, is safe to live in for all peoples.
Right.
It's great being a millionaire flat owner. That'll have everything, bells and whistles to protect you from fire. But if you're over here working in hotels, driving cabs, you're at risk.
Right.
And I would hope that by engineers, practitioners picking up our magazine, they find the articles accessible, individual, and informative, and we'll make sure that anybody who reads it will go, I can make a change in my building, I can make a change to my project.
Right.
And I will save lives. And I'm very proud of our magazine.
How many magazines are you involved with?
Okay, so this is well.
You've got the magazine. You got the whole magazine thing. You're a library yourself.
Well, the second career in my life was as an editor. So,
okay.
I've never
Second
been
nature to you.
Yeah. I was trained as an editor in my early 20s, so but it was in sport. I discovered fire and I could not imagine working in any other industry.
Right.
I really like the fact that when my writers, and I've got some amazing writers, put their pen to paper, they're using their expertise to give me the opportunity to make the world a safer place. So yes, Fire Middle East is the big magazine.
Yeah.
BAFSA publishes a magazine twice a year, which is solely focused on the sprinkler industry. In the UK, we distribute through to local government, project managers, builders, and it's just keeping them updated as legislation, environmental issues, technology. It allows our members to talk directly to end users and decision makers. So it's not a membership magazine, but it's a magazine that our members can take to market.
Lean on. And use it as a resource. Hey, here's an article that I read, and here's why I think we should do it this way.
Absolutely. And then during COVID, the European Fire Sprinkler Network was forced to cancel their big event, which was in Amsterdam.
Right.
And it was, hang on, why don't we communicate it in another way? We can't take a conference to our members and interested parties, so why don't we put a conference into a magazine?
Yeah.
So EFSN launched its magazine. We're now we'll prepare the third issue in October, which is Sprinkler Focus.
Right.
No, it isn't Sprinkler Focus. The BAFSA magazine is Sprinkler Focus.
This is more fire protection in general.
No. This is Sprinkler Outlook.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's a big, beautifully designed magazine aimed at the European market.
Okay.
And it's very, it reflects the quality of our programs at conferences in the written word, basically.
How different do you see? Do you have a lot of contact with a lot of North American organizations?
I work through Fire Middle East with NFPA.
Yep.
EFSA, AFSA.
Yep.
And obviously companies, because I mean, the North American influence on fire protection is massive.
Right.
They own an awful lot. Johnson Controls. Don't they own the world?
I don't know if there's too much they don't own now. Right?
Yeah,
they had to get away from calling them JCI. They had to switch it from Tyco because too many people called it Take Your Company Over. So
I've heard this. So I enjoy my work with North American professionals. I have several who write for me.
One of my favorite things, absolute favorite things that I've taken away from coming all the way to Dubai is meeting people in the same industry as me, the sprinkler fitters, because there's thousands of people here, but they're not all sprinkler related. But when you do find a sprinkler guy, I listen to the podcast, how's it going today? And then we have a conversation, and it's awesome to see the passion that I see in 95% of the sprinkler fitters and designers and installers and engineers and stuff like that. It's awesome to see that it's not area-based or country-based. The passion for the fire protection industry is a worldwide thing, and it's awesome to see that. So I know I'm not crazy.
What I think is tremendous is that any firefighters that I come into contact with, fire suppression saves firefighters' lives.
Absolutely.
It protects them as well, and I never want to forget that.
Right.
They put themselves out there, and if there is fire suppression, they do not have to put quite so much of a risk. Not quite so
Absolutely.
much. And they are thus, for the sprinkler industry, in my opinion, the best sales team in the world. We can protect them. They're going out in the community to protect the community.
Yep.
They can offer a solution. So.
Absolutely. Wendy, thanks for coming on the podcast and talking about an entirely different perspective coming from a different country. Thanks for welcoming me. It was awesome coming and chatting with you. Anytime you want to do anything with the podcast, let me know.
Chris, I really like the opportunity that I've had today, and I'd like to do it again.
Absolutely. Thank you very
Brilliant.
much.
And I look forward to seeing you in Amsterdam.
This episode of the Fire Sprinkler Podcast is brought to you by the Laying It Down for Camp Bucko fundraiser being put on by the Fire Sprinkler Podcast. With local partners Wallace Kent Sprinkler, Troy Life and Fire Safety, Greater Toronto Fire Protection, Lamsar, and Joseph Hullage, with major provider of the fire hoses being brought to you by the Toronto Community Housing, we are well over the 63 kilometers required to break the world record. We're putting off the world record attempt until spring to allow for more donations to come in. www.firesprinklerpodcast.com for more information on how you can donate. Camp Bucko is the burn camp for kids of Ontario. It's open to burn survivors between the ages of 7 and 17. The camp has grown to over 70 children attending the week-long camp in August. There's no fee to attend Camp Bucko, and we'd like to keep it that way. Hoses are $20 a length to sponsor right now. All proceeds going to Camp Bucko. Thanks for your support.